Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, May 9th edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. A reminder, this meeting, just like every meeting in open source Kubernetes, operates under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. To kick things off here, we usually like to offer an opportunity for anyone on the call to introduce themselves for the benefit of anyone who might be listening to the recording or who might be new on the call or whatever might be going on. And I like to use this opportunity to explain what the meeting's about. So I will go first. This is totally optional. So I am Caslin Fields, and I am a co-lead of this sub-project, the Contributor Comms sub-project of the Special Interest Group for Contributor Experience, which is the larger parent group within open source Kubernetes. There are layers. And I'm also a co-chair of SIG ContribEx. And the purpose of this meeting is to talk about contributor communications. So making sure that folks within the contributor community know about things that they should know about, and also that folks outside of the contributor community know about the awesome work that contributors are doing, which we achieve through a variety of means, including social media, which we own all of the social media accounts for the open source Kubernetes project, and blogging and all sorts of other things, which we will discuss today. Who would like to go next?
I'm Chris Short. I work at a company called CIQ where I'm running the open source program office. I've been around the Kubernetes project a long time, not as long as some of the people in this call. But yeah, I know a lot about where things are and how to get you started if you're new here. So welcome all, and hand it off to the next person. Oh, pronouns are he, him. Sorry.
Pronouns she, her. Totally optional. Anyone like to go next?
Don't we all already know each other?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
A recommendation.
Never mind.
Yeah. A suggestion that I got one time was offer the opportunity for all of even the regulars to introduce themselves for anyone who
Okay.
might be watching the video for the first time.
Okay. Well, I'm
But that's why
Josh.
it's
I do a lot.
optional.
Okay, I'm Josh. I do a lot of things around the Kubernetes project. Relevant to this meeting, I co-run last week in Kubernetes development.
I'm excited to talk about that today. Don't always talk about it much. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Totally optional. like like we said, we kind of already know each other.
But
Leave it
YouTube
open to them.
doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Not that many people watch these videos on YouTube, but it does happen occasionally when new folks want to get involved and stuff. So cool. If folks will take are taking the optional option, we had one more person join. So we're doing introductions optionally if folks want to introduce themselves. One more housekeeping item, I think we can move on, is note taking. We always like to ask if there's anyone on the call who would be up for taking notes for us today. The role of the note taker is to follow along with the discussion as best you can and take notes on what was discussed as best you can, so that if anyone missed the call or just wants to find out what this group is about and is reading our notes, they can get a sense for what we discussed in the last meeting. So would anyone be up for taking on the role of note taker today?
I can take notes.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. All right. And with that, I think that's our housekeeping item. Well, one more housekeeping item that I sometimes remember and sometimes don't is a reminder that this meeting is very casual. We like to just chat with each other. So we'll talk about a topic, but we may go off on tangents. And if anybody wants to hop in and ask any kind of question, if you're brand new and don't know what's going on or popped in to talk about some specific area of the project or something today, that is welcome. We are excited to just hang out and chat with each other about contributor communications. Cool.
Hi,
Oh yeah, one thing I didn't say. Oh yeah, please go ahead.
hi everyone. I missed the queue. I want to introduce myself. My name is Apni Mahajan, and I'm very excited to join this community. And I'm looking for non-code contributions. So if anyone can help me get started.
You're in the right
Welcome.
place.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. A couple of tips for someone new. I think you missed the part where I explained what this meeting is, so I'll do that real quick. So this is the contributor comms team. The purpose of our group is to make sure that folks within the contributor community for open source Kubernetes know about stuff that's going on that might be relevant to them, and also that folks outside of the contributor community know about the awesome work that contributors are doing, which we achieve through managing the social media accounts for the project, writing blog posts, running the Last Week in Kubernetes development newsletter, and a variety of other things, which we'll discuss today. And also, the community runs a new contributor orientation session once a month. I think the next one is not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. Yes, the 20th is the next new contributor orientation. There are also recordings on YouTube. So if you want to get involved with contributing, that goes over how the community is structured and how you can find work and all sorts of things like that. So would recommend checking it out. Mario.
And if you want to add your full name to the notes, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, sorry, yes. Regarding NCO, actually, I shared some of the NCO stuff yesterday in the GitHub Maintainer Summit. There was a big what differentiate big projects or what problems that big projects have. So I also shared some stuff there. And then it came back to my mind that we thought about doing it quarterly rather than monthly.
We had mentioned that because the attendance has been going down.
Yes.
I would be interested in doing
I have the
some.
statistics. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he does. I would be interested in seeing if there are ways that we could increase attendance through social media marketing, so to speak, of it, because I think I don't know.
So the one incentive we gave for new contributor orientations was hats. Wonder if we could do that digitally or something, else digitally for attending. I don't know.
I see, like offering some kind of swag. But also
Yeah.
another component of this is maybe we don't need to do it monthly because people are watching the videos. We should go check
Bingo.
the video views, which either me or Chris could do, right?
I don't think I can. Well, I can on YouTube. Yeah, obviously. Sorry.
Okay. Actually,
I'll
I mean, the
link to
other
that.
thing is, it may just be that we've gotten through a backlog of people who were waiting for an orientation.
Yeah, that first one we did was a lot of people joining. And yeah, it has fallen off. Look at that. Thank you for the chart, Mario.
Statistics. Yay.
Yeah. And to clarify, new contributor orientation is not technically part of this group, but we run it, so. But it kind of is.
I have a point on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we need to post about NCO at least 2 weeks before it's happening, because I met a lot of folks who wants to get started with Kubernetes, but whenever I told them that there is an orientation every month, you can attend, or whenever I provide them with the link of the previous one, they are like, we don't know. So there's not an entry point from where someone can know about, okay, this thing happens every month. Because we are doing it every month, then I believe there should be an entry point also for new folks, so that if anyone is interested in Kubernetes, or someone got to know about, okay, there's this thing called Kubernetes. So there should be an entry point, and we should also like make it visible, like maybe in the GitHub repo or anywhere where folks generally visit for learning Kubernetes or approaches us. So there should be this thing like this thing needs to be clearly mentioned that okay, there is one orientation we do every month, and we can also provide the YouTube playlist link.
These things are true. We've done a number of things to address these. I think Mario wants to talk about them.
What just came to my mind while Arpit was suggesting this is there's actually something that people don't want to use, but it's a feature of GitHub, but I don't know who can do it, which is this announcement thing that
Yeah.
basically is
Yeah.
shown on top of all of the repositories, I think on an org level. The question would be if we want to utilize something like this. I know there are strong feelings
of people
regarding
in.
this feature.
An org level?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It feels pretty heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, would you go to GitHub as a new contributor?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
A lot of people do
that
for the good first issues.
that's true. But like, I don't think we got to be more in your face about it. Like, do we have a page on the dev side, right? Like,
We do.
should probably
It
put
needs some
together.
updates. There's a
Yeah.
So I'll go over the list of what we have right now. So we have recurring tweets, posts, social media that goes out about new contributor orientation, which is now scheduled, automated, goes out every month. I think we have it on a monthly basis. We could do it
Monthly
every 2 weeks.
basis, but it could be getting buried because it's the same prose every month. Don't know.
I don't remember what date we scheduled it for, but
Like the second Tuesday or something like that.
yeah, we scheduled it for roughly 1 week before we normally run them. So we are posting about it regularly through automation. We have a page for it on the contributor website, which of course has its own findability problems for new contributors. We have a page on GitHub within the mentoring repo in Kubernetes community. And we post on the Kubernetes new contributors Slack channel normally when it's happening, but we haven't been the best about that one. But there's a lot of posts about it in there. It's not hard to find them. They don't get buried very quickly.
You can post on LinkedIn about it.
Oh, you were muffled, whoever spoke.
So there's a few things that we have. The idea of posting a GitHub banner is very aggressive. I don't know if folks who own the capability to do that would be up for it, but I do think it would also be effective. So we could ask.
Could we do don't we have the announcement capability on the contributor site too? Is that a thing we can do over there or not? I know we talked about this once.
Banners. I think there is such a feature. We do post, don't we post on LinkedIn? I don't know, actually. Is the automation set up for LinkedIn or just the
It should be.
text and-
I'm still diving in to find the damn thing.
So for a lot of this, I kind of feel like there are definitely other things we could do, right? But I kind of feel like if we're going to seriously take the viewpoint that, hey, one of the reasons why it's falling off is that a lot of potential new contributors aren't finding out about it in a timely fashion. I think we at this point kind of need to start from trying to trace the path of a potential new contributor, as in where do they enter the community, right? Because that's where they should find out about the new contributor orientation. Because we can continue posting it in more places, but we might be posting it in more places that the new contributors also won't see. In which case, it's a lot of effort for not really much of anything.
Arpit has opinions.
So I agree with Josh on this. But thing, am I audible?
Now you
Yes,
are.
Mario, can you mute yourself
So,
Oh,
with
I'm
your
sorry.
keyboard? You're fine.
so my point is, what I have noticed, this is my observation that most folks they entered via GitHub. Like they got to know from somewhere that okay, there is this thing known as good first issue, and they can solve it, and they can contribute it, and they can have a meaningful contribution in Kubernetes. So my point is, okay, this is a sort of a vague idea, but my point is we can also open an issue in the Kubernetes repo, getting started with Kubernetes community, something like this. And we can mention resources in that is and we can label it as good first issue. So we can basically, so we are directing new folks to a particular set of resources that can be new contributor orientation, that can be the kates.dev course. So anyone who is coming via GitHub uh, can have basically someone who is coming via GitHub can have a proper curated list of resources that they can get started with the community. And there we can mention the NCO as well as other resources which we feel is right, because we can simply open an issue and we can tag it as good first issue. So someone who is searching for that specific label, they can find out easily and
Yeah.
they can easily get started. So
That-
instead of mentioning it, like I am also like I like the idea of the banner as well, but like mentioning it in the issue section, because that is where folks generally go. Like they open the Kubernetes repo and then they just click on the issues and they try to find something that they can contribute to, irrespective of what it is. So this is my idea.
Well, I think it would certainly be easy to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing is what we'd want to do is we'd want to actually cancel and refresh that issue like once a month or something, so that it doesn't get buried. One of the other things that falls into the heading of, oh, we should have done this an age ago, is adding links to the NCO page and the contributor tutorial to the good first issue template,
Oh,
to the little message when
yeah,
you
we
get,
should
oh, are you
definitely
sure
do
this is a
that.
good first issue? Because really every good first issue help wanted issue should have links to those things.
That's true. I
Mhm,
like that idea. These are things we
Um,
can achieve.
mhm.
Yeah. I'd have to think about how that would actually work, though, because when somebody's filing an issue and then they tag it as a good first issue, they're not actually using a template. So
I'm wondering what resource we give them, because there have been many attempts over the years by the community to create a resource of good new contributor resources. We have the new contributor course, we have new contributor orientation, we have the docs guidelines on how to become a new contributor. Those are the three
yeah,
that I would highlight if I were to create a top level thing. Should we put that like here somewhere in the contributor website? What do you think, Josh? You probably have familiarity with these attempts over the years. What do you think a current version of that would look like?
wait, hold on. Look at that page.
Is there one that you think is the best that just needs updating?
So what's wrong with that getting started page?
This one? That's what I was thinking, is that we probably have one.
Yeah.
Let me put this in the chat so everyone can take a look at it. Prerequisites.
I mean, in the in the contributor guide, we could add, something about NCO under that or under the welcome. I think
No,
that
the
would
NCO is already there.
Where?
New contributor orientation sessions, right there on the left. And if you actually drop onto the, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, new contributor course. New contributor orientation sessions. Interesting.
Am I looking at a different page than you are? Seem to be
Maybe.
looking at a different page than you are.
I went to cates.dev/course, and then I went to the getting started thing on the
Page.
upper left.
Oh,
of
okay,
the
hold on.
navigation bar.
Okay.
Actually,
There have been many attempts over the years.
so this is a bit of a mess here
Yes, it
because
is. It's kind of, yeah.
because if you actually just go to the root URL, the Kubernetes dev docs, it actually lands on a much simpler page that has fewer options and more appropriate to new contributors. But there's no way to navigate back to that page
Interesting.
because it's
Well,
just
no,
just an index page that's not named.
It's
So
that top blue link on the left that says documentation.
Yeah.
That'll take you back.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, because
But
I think it's
that's not
actually
where a
better
new
than getting
contributor is
started
gonna
because
go.
that has the getting started, the contributor cheat sheet, new contributor course, new contributor orientation sessions are all in there, and the
I like
and
sharing this one.
yeah, and
Yeah.
fewer options is better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
totally agree.
yep. So then
I
the other
think this
question is
page
how
has
we
the right content. Yeah.
yeah. The other question is like how we'd inject that into good first issues, etc. In the future, and I don't now knowing like how you create a good first issue. I'm not.
So
Well, we do have the bot that automatically says, "Are you sure this is a good first issue? It needs these characteristics." But
right.
it's still dependent on the person creating the issue to actually copy and paste the link in.
Yeah. And one
Hmm.
idea, you mentioned that we probably need a new one for each month. We could make it an actual good first issue with a task in it. Granted, someone will pick that up so fast. But we could ask for help with uploading the slide deck for each month because I am terrible about doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, this is two separate things, right? There's Arpit's idea, which is to create its own good first issue that is attend the new contributor orientation, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is a great idea, and that is a very easy thing to do, right?
Yeah.
We just need to remember
Mhm.
to delete the old one and create a new one every month.
Exactly.
Which somebody could eventually script.
Yeah.
And then I'm putting in a second issue, which is that, hey, we should be linking to this page on any issue that we've tagged good first issue or help wanted.
The template piece. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
And we could
So-
also add content into the new contributor orientation session saying, hey, there's an issue for this. Go check it out, put your name on it, interact with it. We'll close it very soon since we have now completed this session. But this is a chance for you to get on GitHub and make sure that your stuff is working.
Yeah.
So we can manipulate issues and with Zapier, looking at what it would take to actually close one right now. Creating one is easy.
Well, the only trick with closing one is knowing the issue ID, right?
Right.
That can be part of the process for the host.
But you can also
you
find
host
an issue as well.
But you know what?
Zapier.
Right. You know what? We can post this as a help wanted good first issue. Because somewhere out there's somebody who wants to contribute to Kubernetes who doesn't know Kubernetes very well, but does know GitHub Actions.
Yeah. Well, if Zapier, we can do a find issue in there, and if we just keep the title the same, that could be pretty manageable.
But in the meantime, it's pretty simple. We post one listing the next NCO, saying attend the NCO, and put that in there, and it'll show up on Contributor and everything else. So great idea, Arpit.
Yes.
Thank you,
Agreed.
Arpit. Let's try that out before we change it from monthly and see if we
Yeah.
can increase attendance. Because I'd
Mhm.
rather not miss people. Like making it less frequent, we might miss more people who want to see it who are still not finding it. So I'm excited to try and catch them.
Is there an easy way for folks to add it to their calendar? I'm assuming so.
Not as easy as I'd
Yeah,
like.
exactly. So I do
So
wonder, like,
yeah.
if we could hand out an ICS link or file as part of that.
Yeah.
know.
So I've made some attempts to make this possible, but I think there's more investigation needed into how we can make it smoother. So there's a
Mhm.
link in the GitHub page and the new contributor this page I think links to the GitHub page. Yeah. So there's a link in here to each of the meetings.
Okay.
And that's supposed to link to the series, but it might actually link to a specific one. So I need to figure out how to make sure that it
Interesting.
actually takes them to the right one. I never quite
Hmm.
figured that out.
It could just be a search for new contributor orientation, in the
Yeah.
calendar, essentially.
In the automated one, we send people to cates.dev/calendar because
Mhm.
we also say like the timing of these meetings could change. The message that we send out regularly through automation is the Kubernetes community normally holds new contributor orientation on the third Tuesday of each month. Check the calendar to see when the next one is. So it's like,
Mhm.
here's where you should find it. Go see if it's there.
Yeah,
But
that's
one
cool.
part of setting up new contributor orientation itself is that we care more about having it run than having it run at the same time every time.
Mm.
So I incorporated into the host guidelines that if you can't run it on the third Tuesday of every month, but you can run it, we care about that. Arujval.
Am I audible?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, hi everyone. I've not been here for a while.
Welcome. Good to have you
I'm
back.
back.
So I'm trying to catch up. Like we are discussing about how to get more people to get into orientation classes, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So my suggestion was that I came to know about Kubernetes from YouTube. So do we have any kind of tutorial on YouTube so that a kind of guide
Yes.
that?
So the new contributor orientation sessions we hold monthly as a meeting just like this, and then those theoretically get uploaded every month to the YouTube channel, and there's a playlist of new contributor orientation sessions. So there are videos, whether or not they're findable being another issue.
No, I just checked, so it did not came at the first. So I thought maybe it is not there.
So it's not findable. That is also good to know. Let's see here. YouTube.
Do we need to make a
Mm,
playlist? Happy to do that.
There is a playlist.
Okay.
I will update the whole YouTube playlist
Right here.
and all the videos this weekend.
Okay. I mean, I could do it right now.
Also, a follow-up suggestion on Rajwal. Like we promote the LWKT session, right? So after it's being done, like on Tuesday, like we can promote it. Like we can post a post about it every week that anyone who is interested in learning Kubernetes can go and watch it on YouTube. Like uh, we can promote it. Like we can promote the YouTube video as well. So anyone who don't know about the new contributor session does not have to wait for the next one, like for the entire month. If he knows about, okay, there's a YouTube playlist where I can find these sessions on. So we can also post about it.
Yeah, I would also want to add on. Like, I think most people who come to Kubernetes, if they are first, then they would not be willing to like see the whole playlist in one go. So if we can just post one
Most of
YouTube
them are
video
the
which is
same
like,
anyway.
No, like if we post just one video, which is not of any playlist, but it is just about like an introduction to contribution to Kubernetes, something like that. So I think maybe it will have more SEO visibility in YouTube, something like that.
Hmm.
The thing with these is that they're not a series. Each individual one is the same content over again, just updated for the new month. So there's a playlist so that you can find the most recent one.
No, I mean, like if we are starting out, so let's say that I go to YouTube and if I type Kubernetes, then like if we get a first session that how to start contribution with Kubernetes, which is not of any playlist, like it is not of any orientation. It is just like a hook that you can refer to our playlist then.
I agree with you, but my issue is that video that you just found. How old is it?
Ooh.
Is it a year
Uh,
old? Is it 5 years old? Because this is
maybe we can,
one where we're doing that, but we're doing it every month. So the only reason there's a playlist is just because we're doing it every month so that there's a new updated version of it ready for you to find.
okay. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah. It's not a continuation or anything like that. It's just we updated it.
Now I was not able to get it. So yeah. No.
Mm.
Am
But
I
your point
audible?
about like it should come up is good. Avni, go ahead.
Yes. Go ahead.
Uh, I agree with Arutwal, but the issue is, I feel like whenever we send a series to a new contributor, it will be a little overwhelming. But as you said, that we have to only know about the latest update. Is there any way we can only share that latest video so that for the new contributors, it is easier to get started?
I mean, we could delete the old ones, but what
Hmm.
purpose does that serve?
Uh,
Yeah, like they're there for folks that can ask questions, and maybe we should surface those questions in other ways, which is fine, but we typically don't delete things unless there's an issue inside the video itself.
There's an SEO issue here of like, yes, when someone searches for new contributor orientation on Kubernetes or new contributor Kubernetes, whatever they search for, they find the right video is the problem.
Hmm.
But do we solve that problem by only having one video on YouTube? Or by having 15 videos on YouTube, do we ensure that they find at least one of them?
It's a good
uh,
question. I think we could make
I have a
older
suggestion.
ones private, potentially. That way we
Maybe
don't
we
have to
can.
just blow them away.
I would keep them because everything in YouTube is basically SEO. And if
Yeah.
they stumble over any video, I mean, what is the only problem or the major problem that they will face is that the call for helps are not active anymore. We won't change I mean, if we
Content.
would change the main content of the thing, then we can still argue if we want to take down the old sessions. But as long as, I mean, the core essence in the video is go to Kubernetes/community, read through it, and go to kubernetes.dev/calendar and join a SIG meeting. So this probably will not change.
Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know, we're talking about with SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's how you make sure that when someone types in Kubernetes contributor guide or whatever they might type in, the right stuff comes up. And
Hmm.
there's a bunch of tricks to that. Arpit?
Yep. So what we can do is like we are going with that issue thing, right? So when we refresh the issue every month, we can link the latest contributor session over there for someone to
Mhm.
watch. Also, if we are like posting about the latest contributor session after it happens, like okay, on the third week of the month, we have the contributor session is over. Now, for the fourth week, if we are posting about like if we post a post about uh about the contributor session, we can link the latest YouTube video for that. So
In the
instead
auto
of
posts, you mean?
yeah, in the Twitter post or LinkedIn post, if we are like anyone who is watching that post, that we run a contributor session, and here is the latest one which happened recently, and the next one is on the next in the upcoming month. So that person will know about okay, we run contributor sessions monthly, as well as that person can also watch the recent one.
I like the idea. The issue is the implementation. We've made it automated so that a human doesn't have to get involved with putting the new link into it every time, because then you're just manually posting every month.
Mhm.
So we need an automated way to grab the most recent one. So I think instead we have a listener on the playlist. And when a new video gets uploaded on the playlist, we make a separate post saying, hey, the most recent new contributor orientation video is up.
Is out, right?
Does YouTube have RSS? That might be a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should look into that.
Looking right now.
Arujval and Avni, I'm not sure whose hand went up first.
Maybe we can include that in the post and inform the contributors that new latest sessions are happening every Tuesday, and inform them beforehand so that they know.
So we're trying to do that. We have a post that goes out a week before we normally run the session every month that says, hey, there's normally a session a week from right now. Go check out the calendar to see if there is one on the schedule, so that it's automated, so that there's not a human sending that post every time.
But
Um,
but what I'm trying to say is that it also informs them that it is the latest session, and that will have the updates of the latest Kubernetes.
how are you going to do that in an automated way without a human writing that?
We can't include that in the script.
Include what exactly?
Mm,
Like
That's
for the
the
person
issue.
running it? Is that what you're talking about?
Mhm.
If you don't know, that's totally fine.
I don't know.
We're discussing this because we don't know either.
Yeah. Arujval.
I have a small suggestion regarding which can improve the SEO of videos. So, like the title that we are using on videos, contributor orientation. I mean, it's a little bit complex. Like we can make it a little simpler, like how to start with contributing with Kubernetes, and also the thumbnail that we are using, that is not very beginner friendly. So, I mean, if it is not violating the Kubernetes guidelines, then we can make it a little simple, like showing a guy and a laptop that he's doing, like what YouTubers do. So I think it can get more engagement.
We could potentially do that.
So yeah, the RSS feeds are per channel, not
I
not
have
seeing one on the playlist.
like,
Sorry.
so will this not violate YouTube guidelines? Like we have a set YouTube guidelines for how the video should be named that we follow. So if we are
Do we?
like, yeah, we have.
Yeah, we do.
Today I learned.
There's standards.
I I do that every week now. So
Thank you.
so like I am all up with the idea. I like the idea very much. But if we are doing that, what we can do is we can mention the same name in the description, like whatever the guidelines we are following, whatever the naming convention we are following, we can mention that in the description. And for the actual title, we can change the actual title. So if anyone from the YouTube admin wants to search the video based on the date, they can actually look at the description and search it. So we can follow.
Can you share the guidelines here?
Yep.
I can find them. or you can if you have them handy.
Indeed. We are at 45 minutes into this meeting and we haven't addressed anything else on the agenda. And this technically isn't even owned by this team.
Who actually owns
So
it? ContribEx proper?
I would
Theoretically,
argue
yes.
mentoring.
Oh, mentoring. Okay, that
I
makes
put
sense.
it in the mentoring section of the thing, but that's an inactive sub-project. So, Josh.
Yeah, there isn't a mentoring meeting, so the
Oh,
so
well,
we just
yeah.
do it in the ContribEx meeting usually.
Yeah. But let's talk about last week in Kubernetes development, Josh. Thank you for being here today.
Okay, yeah. It's just minor. We're in an effort to get out LWKD in a more timely fashion. We're changing how people claim what section they're going to write. We're going to try to get folks to claim a section every month, so that we're not going through the thing at the beginning of the week every week of, okay, who's picking the cap of the month or the cap of the week, since that's actually delayed getting stuff written. Off to a little rocky start this week because of world events.
Yeah, no kidding.
But anyway, that was Sriram's idea, and we're going to run with it. So if anybody in this call wants to write for LWKD in the future, at the end of this month, I'll do a call for people to claim things for June. But for that matter, there's a couple of sections that were not claimed, which means I'm writing them. So if you really want to write for LWKD, there is stuff for you to do.
Wonderful. So folks who are interested in non-code contribution, there's an opportunity.
Yeah. The challenge for LWKD is that you do need to understand or learn something about how Kubernetes is developed.
Check out new contributor orientation, which explains a little bit about the process. Cool. So that was the changing how assignments are made new item, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And also we normally try to go over messages of the week, which are things that can be highlighted in last week in Kubernetes development. And I think, Josh, you added these.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing that. Shadow applications for 1.34 release team are open. I saw that and I went and was like, I need to do social media about this. And then I don't think I did. Quarterly.
Yeah. So
quarterly LFX deadline. Go ahead.
Yeah. So SIG release would like us to get out the shadow application on all of the contributor channels.
Wonderful. We can do that.
For the LFX deadline, which is next week, and this is for mentoring, other than sharing it on leads and chairs, there isn't really any other place to share it unless we were going to do an all SIG broadcast, which is not worth it for this. Is there?
Wait,
a SIG broadcast for
the fact that the quarterly LFX deadline is coming up, and so if SIGs have projects that they want to recruit a mentee for.
There's the chairs and tech leads meeting in the channel.
Yeah.
And I see that Arpit has his hand up.
Slackbot is a thing.
Yeah, I don't feel like this is worth a Slackbot because this is quarterly. Yeah. We have it every quarter. Okay.
Arpit?
Yep. So I would like to know, like, do we have somewhere do we have some LWKD guidelines written somewhere for new contributors who want to who want to contribute in LWKD, or it is just like they have to reach out to someone who is already doing LWKD and then they can get stuff?
Yes. There are extensive guidelines. Go to the LWKD project under Kubernetes 6, and you will find probably about 6 pages of contributing information.
Yeah, I know about the style sheet, and basically Sriram has shared with me. So you were talking about that, right?
You said it's in Kubernetes SIGs?
Yeah.
Huh?
Ta-da.
Should we
Interesting
move?
place.
I mean, quite a while ago when it stopped being completely independent. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Leads
That's
and
what I said.
contributors. Yeah, so let me toss this into the notes in the chat. And then which one of these is the guide? Contributing.md?
Yeah. Yep. And then that links to stylesheet.md, which is a whole bunch of other stuff as well.
Oh,
Although
gotcha.
I think this actually needs to be updated for our new writing cycle because it still refers to how we used to put it together.
Oh,
So
Such is open source.
Mhm.
Documenting things and redocumenting things. And trying to figure out how to get them to the people that would actually want to consume that documentation. That's what we do here. Wonderful. Yeah, and I like the idea of promoting the most recent new contributor orientation video. We've also been slow about getting the new contributor orientation videos up. It requires manual interaction. So another thing for us to figure out in the YouTube admins meeting, which we totally have, right?
we need one sometimes, I feel like. Gosh.
About it.
Maybe at least quarterly or something.
Fun. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Someone pinged me about permissions for a playlist. And I'm not sure that's even a thing, but we have a doc. So I'm going to go look.
We have 7 minutes left, so we've talked about messages of the week, though I should also make the call. Anyone else know anything going on in the contributor community that contributors need to know about? Shadow applications, LFX deadline. I think the 1.34 release schedule got decided. Is that true? I've seen people talking about it internally, at least. Might be something to cover if it's out. Um, 1.33 came out a couple weeks ago. There are still feature blogs, I think, coming out. I don't know if they've finished yet. Don't know if you all want to share the 1.33 feature blogs that have come out in the last week.
Wouldn't hurt. They've been pretty popular.
They have. We have data.
yeah, do we have any kind of a pipeline where when we publish a new blog, it sort of automatically gets on the list to add to our social media?
Oh yeah. Like it's very much looking at RSS feeds and posting and adding things.
Yeah, whenever something is posted on the blog, it gets auto posted in the next slot. And when we did our analysis of our social media, which we talked through last week, most of the top posts were automated posts.
Which is
Because that
awesome.
is most of our posts.
Except for that one mysterious LWKD edition, which I still don't understand.
Which was an auto post. It was also
Yeah,
very
right.
It's also an
interesting.
auto post, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just like, wait, why the January 26th edition? You know?
Yeah.
Maybe people wanted to have different news than politics news or world event news and just said like, yeah, let's go
Yeah.
with LWKD.
Honestly, maybe. It was right at the end of January.
Yeah.
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 That could be why. Cool. 5 minutes left. Anything anyone else wants to cover? Updates, big wins, new items, continue talking about new contributor orientation, a quick review of some of the social media stuff. Anything anyone wants to talk about?
I have finally completed the draft for the steering block.
Yes. Now that
Ooh.
we've got all of our blog review problems, but I am so
Yeah.
excited for that blog.
Nice. In case anybody cared, we're still in the situation with Kubernetes.dev that we need to update Doxy before we can fix the social media links.
Should I put that in new items?
Mm,
That is definitely not a new item.
but
It is the
it
opposite of a
could
new
be.
item.
Yeah,
The,
I
okay,
feel like
fine.
upgrades should be a new item because Jesus Christ, they're hard.
Yeah. Well, this is why I'll tell you when I'm launching new projects now we're not using Doxy.
Thank God.
Really? What are you using now? Is there a new thing?
Docusaurus actually is looking a lot better.
Docusaurus.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
Yeah.
So, new idea. Completely
We are-
remake Gates
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Sure, Kesslin, what are you
Exactly.
doing the next half year?
This is
So-
not Hugo, is it?
Should we write this down? Kesslin,
We should write it
volunteers.
down for sure.
Jesus.
Actually,
Honestly, though, that is probably the better.
without joking, when I talked with GFI back in Chicago,
That was a while ago.
we said that it's probably easier to rewrite it than to update it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. We did.
I mean, it is probably the way that it's set up right now. We're just going to get into this situation again, I think, even if we fix it, because there's just
learn
so
over
much
again.
custom code in
Mhm.
the Kates.dev website that
Mhm.
updating these is always going to be a problem. So rewriting it at this point probably is the right solution. Just we need someone to do it.
Well, and given that we're potentially
own it.
facing needing to change the domain anyway,
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
Still-
idea. When we
I mean,
do
there hasn't been
that.
any news on that. There hasn't been any news.
No.
The .io the whole .io TLD thing.
Hmm. Yeah, that should be
Yeah.
fine, right?
Yeah.
Like
To
for
review
now.
for anyone who hasn't followed along with that saga, the .io domain is technically a country code. Any 2-letter one, I think, is technically a country code, right?
Yes.
And so the organization that owns that deprecated this because the country that .io was for no longer exists. So
It's
there's a
changed names. So yeah, it's been handed over from
Yeah.
British power to local power.
So there is a possibility that the .io domain could go away at any time. So there's a conversation in the community about, do we need to move Kubernetes.io to Kubernetes.dev and move the developer content into some subsection of that site or something like that. But it's not imminent. We don't think that will happen within the next year or two, probably, but there are no guarantees.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've talked about anyway, because having the contributor stuff be clearly a portion of the main doc site would make it more findable.
Yeah.
The problem becomes then contributing to it, right? Because like one of the reasons that we have a separate contributor site is because Docs doesn't necessarily want us shoving all of our sort of random charts and pages about events and everything else.
Mm.
They like to maintain a
into
bar
their
of
tree.
quality.
Into their tree.
Could we
And
do
we need those things.
Could we do a child repo? That we basically say that the dev site, all of the dev site is basically like
how is it called? I'm missing the correct term, right? That you have like the repository, the part that is interesting in a separate repository. I know that this is possible because I've done this a couple of times for customers. So that you basically link to another, so that you have a folder, and the folder is basically a subcomponent in Git. I forgot the term, how it's called. Submodule. That we
Oh God, I
basically
hate
create the.
submodules.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, but this would potentially solve this.
Yeah, we can talk about it with that. Right now, what they're talking about is that Kubernetes IO would move to Kubernetes.dev, and what we've got in Kubernetes.dev would move to contribute.kubernetes.dev.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't really improve the findability problem.
No.
The other issue, core issue for us for Kubernetes.dev is simply that it includes a whole bunch of content that is built from Kubernetes/community.
Yeah.
And that requires a ton of customization. And it was always kind of the idea that we were going to take most of the content in Kubernetes community and gradually move it over to website so that it could be maintained in doxy format. But we moved one chunk of stuff and then that work kind of halted.
Yeah. Another interesting component of this is that if we were to put out a good first issue for someone to migrate Kates.dev to Docusaurus, which is not really a good first issue, but if we were to recruit someone to do that, it might get done at the point where we're then merging the sites.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, we're 3 minutes over. Thank you everyone for joining today. Lots of good stuff here. We can definitely create the good first issue for a new contributor orientation and potentially change the name. I like that idea too. I think we should maybe look into doing that for the next one. So we can get to work on that through Slack. And we also need to put out social media about the shadow applications. So I'm going to try to do that right now after this call. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And we're going to say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. Bye, YouTube.